guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you my favorite makeup brushes. So I'm gonna go through all my favorite brushes, and then at the end of the video I'm gonna just show you guys like 5 or 6 brushes that I think are necessary for everyone to have, even if you're not a makeup artist. Just like basic, I need to do my makeup, I think you guys should have like these basic 5 brushes. I don't own a lot of brushes, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think it's totally necessary to have a million brushes unless you're like a true makeup artist, you're out there doing makeup as your full-time job all the time. I'm not. I freelance here and there, but I basically just do makeup for YouTube and then on myself, you know, when I'm going out, whatever. So here are all the brushes that I'm gonna mention today. Oh, not that, that's eyelash glue. Here are all the brushes right here, and I'm gonna start off, I guess, with eye brushes. Okay, so first with eye brushes, you obviously want to have a blending brush. That is like the #1 thing in makeup, is to have something to blend out your eyeshadows. You need some kind of fluffy brush. So a lot of brands make really good brushes. They don't have to be MAC, they don't have to be something super expensive, but the quality, you kind of pay for the quality, I want to say, because MAC brushes are some of the best out there in my opinion. And one of my favorites is the MAC 224 blending brush, which is a cult favorite here on YouTube. I don't think I know any makeup artist that does not own this brush, whether you're on YouTube or not. So it's basically just a fluffy brush that is meant to just blend everything out. So you can use this to blend right in your crease, above your crease, all over the lid, and just blend out you know, a bunch of colors if that's what you want to do. And I have 2 of them, but I also have the tapered blending E40 by Sigma, and it's almost the exact same thing, and it is a little bit cheaper. I'll have all the prices and everything listed down below. It also is a little bit longer, and I don't know if I, you know, really care about that. It doesn't really make a difference when I do my makeup. I actually reach for a fluffy blending brush, and I don't even know which one I'm using most of the time. Like sometimes I grab the MAC and I think it's Sigma. So they're both very, very similar. I will say the Sigma one is a little bit softer. I find that sometimes, but I mean, they both do the same exact thing, and the Sigma one is a little cheaper. So totally up to you, but these 2 are holy grail status. I mean, if I lost my 224 by MAC or my Sigma E40, I would have to replace them. Like all these brushes that I'm talking about, if I lost it, I would replace it. That's how I know it's my holy grail. If I lost any of the brushes behind me, I would probably just be like, oh, whatever. So like I was saying, my video stopped recording, but if I were to lose any of the brushes behind me, it wouldn't be a big deal, but these, I would die. I would need to buy more brushes of these. So yeah, the 224 and the E40 by Sigma. The next brush I want to talk about is the E25 by Sigma, and this is another blending brush. Blending to me is ideal in makeup, so I'm going to be mentioning a lot of those, or those are really like the main ones that I feel like you should purchase when you're doing your eyeshadow. So just getting these out of the way. E25 is a smaller blending brush. It's more of kind of like a rounded oval, and I like this one for when I'm trying to get more concentrated color right here in my eye, and go like this, and then I kind of turn it sideways and blend out even more. So when I'm doing my makeup, I'm almost always using these 2 brushes. The next brush that you want to have in your collection is something to pack on your eyeshadow with. Now this is like one of the first brushes that I've ever bought from MAC. The writing is completely off, so I'm not even sure of the number, but I'll have it popped up on the screen or listed down below, or both. But you're just gonna want something like this to be able to pack on eyeshadow. I did use this one today, that's why it's dirty. I tried to wash all my brushes yesterday because I knew I was doing this video, but then of course I needed to do my makeup, and I'm gonna use all my favorite brushes, so now most of them are dirty again. But yeah, this one is one of my favorites. There's something about this brush, it's like the perfect size and everything. I love it for underneath the brow bone to highlight. I love it to pack on my eyeshadow. It's a little big, but it's still small enough where if you want to highlight right in here in your inner corner of your eye, you can do so. So love this brush. I've had 2 of them, and I think I lost one, but I still had this one, so I didn't feel like I needed to go buy it again. But if I were to lose this one, I'd absolutely have to go get it. So love, love, love this one. Okay, so for the next 2 for the eyes, my E45 is going to be your small tapered blending brush, and this one is even tinier or even more pointed and precise for when you want to get right in there, right in that crease, and make it even more of like a line, I want to say, because with this one I wouldn't necessarily be able to blend it out after I place that color. I would have to place the color, slowly build it out or blend it out, and then I would have to go back in with a E40 or a 224 by MAC. So that's the difference between these two. I mean, besides the shape, but this one, if I place the color right in my crease, I'm still able to blend out with this one because it is a larger, fluffier brush. This one is just a little bit more dense and pointed. So yeah, that's the only difference. I have to say with this one, I don't need this every time I do my makeup, and that's the only reason I'm not saying it's holy grail, but I still think that it's necessary. It's just because I don't always do like a cut crease or anything like that where I need something pointed, but I still think this is an amazing brush. And then getting even smaller, I guess I'm just going like smaller and smaller down the list of eye brushes. You have a pencil brush, and this is a MAC 219 pencil brush. And I use this to blend out my lower lash line, to highlight my inner corner, and then if I'm doing a serious cut crease, you can even cut your crease with a brush like this. It's dense, but it does have flexibility, which is why I really like the MAC pencil brush. I've used pencil brushes in the past which I didn't think had that quality, where it's kind of flexible but still has a little bit of fluffiness to it. It's just the best of both worlds for a pencil brush. Okay, so my last two eye brushes are going to be both synthetic eye brushes, and the first one I'm going to mention is my Chanel one. This is a Chanel No. 1 brush. This was actually a gift to me because, not for nothing, I'm not going to spend like, I don't even know how much this was, but Chanel, and I don't think it's necessary because I have a Sigma one that's pretty much the same exact thing. I just reached for this one because this one's a little bit smaller, and the reason I love this one is because I love it to carve out my eyebrows. Now, if you're not somebody who does that, this is not really that necessary. I mean, you can use it for blemishes or underneath the eyes, but for that, I always use my finger. I don't know, something about the warmth of my finger for blending out my under eye concealer and popping on some concealer on my blemishes. That's what I like to do, but for carving on my eyebrows, I'm always using this brush. And you guys don't see that a lot because I cut out doing my eyebrows in my videos. It's just, it takes forever. It's honestly like a 10-minute process, and it's ridiculous. Like, you guys don't want to see that every time I do a tutorial, but I love this brush. I wouldn't recommend spending the money on a Chanel brush, like I said, unless you really want to, because there are so many dupes out there for a brush like this. I'll have a Sigma one linked down below as like a dupe. Do I have it over here? Let me grab one. I have this one from Sigma, and it's just bigger. That's why I always tend to reach for this one for my eyebrows. But this is the Concealer F75. So any concealer brush will totally do, just something a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Most concealer brushes they're all made pretty much the same. They're all synthetic hairs or fibers or whatever you want to call this. So they all pretty much do the same thing, so I wouldn't even stress about this being a Chanel brush. And the last eye brush is this MAC 224. Now, this brush is the only thing I use if I'm going to be using glitters or pigments or something that I need some kind of sealant or something to adhere my pigments to. Like, I don't want to use something like this, or no, not this, wrong one, like this. This one is real hair, so you're going to end up ruining your brush, and you're also going to just make a mess out of it. It's going to be so hard to clean. Glitter is just basically going to get all up in here, and it's going to be so hard to clean, so not worth it. This is what you want to go with if you're going to be using synthetic or if you're going to be using like glitters or pigments or anything like that, because synthetic brushes are easier to clean and it doesn't ruin the brush. So yeah, this one is one of my favorites, the 224, or the 242 I should say, by MAC. Really quickly, since we're staying on eyes, or we're going to move away from eyes now, I just want to mention a eyebrow brush, or something I use to do my eyebrows. I always need a spoolie when I'm doing my eyebrows. I cannot not spoolie out my eyebrows, so I usually use, here it is, usually use the Anastasia one. This is the number 7. I don't even think they make this anymore. I'm pretty sure they make a big one that's like real size, and I even think it's a number 12, and I don't even know how I know that number, but I think that's the number of what it is. I could be wrong. I love this though because it's dual ended and or dual sided, and you can use this part for filling in your eyebrows with like your powder, and then the spoolie to spoolie them out. I always need a spoolie, whether I'm using a gel, a cream, a pomade, a powder, whatever. I need a spoolie to spoolie out my eyebrows, or you're gonna get that harsh line, especially in the front of your brow. I hate when I see that. It's like, ugh, I just want to, it's the same thing as blending out your eyeshadow. You want to blend out those lines. So the one that I've been using is the number 6 by Chanel, and again, I got this as a gift. I would not spend money on this one, But I have this one here from Sonia Kashuk, and this came out in her holiday collection, so it's not available anymore. But what I'm trying to say is you can use anything like this. Like, it doesn't matter to me as long as I have something to just brush out my brows really quick, and that's it. I really don't use the other side of either of these. I think it's to comb out like clumps in your eyelashes or do whatever you want with it, honestly, but just need to mention that because I think that's important. But if you want to just get, you know, like your bang for your buck kind of thing, get 2 brushes in one, I highly recommend a Anastasia Beverly Hills brush, and I'll have the bigger one linked down below because again, I think they don't make these anymore. It came in a kit, but yeah, I love this. Like, I need some kind of spoolie for my brows. Okay guys, so I totally forgot one more eye brush. Don't kill me, but this is the Flat Definer E15, and I'm just mentioning this one because when you're doing your lower lash line, first of all, it's very important to blend out that lower lash line, which you do with the pencil brush that I showed you before, if I can find it. So it's right here. In conjunction with the pencil brush to blend out your lower lash line, you're gonna want something like this, a flat definer, to basically press underneath your eye. Let me just look in the mirror here. What you're gonna need this for is right when you're going right under here, you can put some eyeshadow, place the eyeshadow basically where you want it without making a huge mess, and then you can go in with the pencil brush and just blend it out. Okay guys, so these are the face brushes that I want to show you guys. Eyes are actually there's a lot more brushes for eyes than face. I don't have that many face brushes to show you guys, so I guess that's a good thing because this video is probably already 100 years long. But let's start off with a brush I like to use to set underneath my eyes, and this is the Tapered Highlighting F35. I've been using this more, and this is by Sigma. I've been using this more in my videos, but before I used it to set underneath my eyes because it's a great shape for that. I would use it to highlight my cheekbones, and I loved it for that. But when I found out how much I loved it for setting underneath my eyes, I kind of switched and stopped using it to highlight because I only have one, and I don't wash my brushes after every time I use it. So if I'm setting underneath my eye and then I get shimmer underneath my eye, like, it's gonna look crazy. So yeah, I've loved this brush first to highlight, and then I fell in love with it again to set underneath my eye. I just think it's a perfect shape. It's nice and fluffy. It picks up a great amount of product. I just absolutely love this brush. Do I think it's absolutely necessary for just anybody who's just doing makeup on themselves and just needs a basic pair of brushes? No. That's why I'm going to say that at the end, so you guys can know which ones are just for, like, you know, 5 brushes or something that you can need just for yourself. But I still really consider this a holy grail. I would repurchase it if I lost it, so love this brush. Okay, so this brush right here is a Real Techniques brush, and I think Real Techniques makes one of the best drugstore brushes out there. They're super affordable, and they're so well made. Like, I'm super impressed with them. Just the ferrule alone, which is the part where it holds all the bristles into the brush, they never, like, they don't shed and it doesn't come loose. A lot of the times with my brushes, the ferrule disconnects. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like wiggly. I still love this brush, which I'll mention in a minute, but these never get like that. They are just awesome. They stay in such great condition. So this brush right here is actually a blush brush. I know that, even though all the writing's off of it because I've had it forever. But it's a blush brush, but I love using this for powder foundation. It's just so soft and just like buffs everything in the skin. I love it. For blush, it was too big for me. I just felt like, I don't know, it was taking up too much face. Too much face. Oh my god. I just thought it was taking up too much of my cheeks. So I just decided to use it for powder, and I've used it for that for a good year, I want to say. And then I thought I lost it, and then I was going to buy another one, and then I ended up finding it in one of my bags. But this is a great brush. Again, you can even use this for underneath the eyes. It's a little big for that and a little bit too domed, but you could use it for that. So really love this brush. Another powder brush I want to mention is this humongous brush by Mattese NYC. Now, I wasn't going to mention this brush just because this I got at a sale, like a closing out sale, and it was probably like $10. I think the original price was about $20 or something like that, which is still really good for a brush this big. But this is the best brush for just bronzing your whole face, like just getting in there with bronzer. It's just so big and fluffy. Now, I I don't even know where to buy this brush anymore. So if you can find anything this big, just know that something that big is really great for bronzing, just like getting all over your face with some nice bronzer. But if I find it, I'll list it down below. I just had to mention it because I use this almost anytime I want my whole face to be like nice and bronzy, or like a lot of my face to be bronzy. But if I'm not doing that, this brush right here, my 187, my MAC, is everything to me. I actually bought this for foundation. This was the first brush that I bought from anywhere. I was going to say from MAC, but it was the first brush that I bought that I realized that you can use a brush for foundation, like liquid foundation. Some macro, I think she told me about it, and she was like, oh, you can totally use this to put on your foundation. It gives an airbrush effect. And I'm like, what? Ever since then, I've had it. I've loved it. But I switched over to using like flat top brushes, or like kabuki style brushes to blend in my foundation. I just feel like it works better for me than something like this. But this brush for bronzer, oh my god, I cannot live without this brush. This brush is my life with bronzer. Like, this and bronzer are everything. So I just use this to go around my forehead, over here, over here, over here. Something about how fluffy and airy the bristles are, and the fact that it's a dual fiber, it's amazing for bronzer. I use it all the time in my videos, so I'm sure you guys have seen that, but I just had to tell you again that this is the bomb. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Makes you look so airbrushed and so airbrushed. So I love this brush, and I cannot live without it if I want my bronzer to look very nice and smooth and flawless. So while we're talking about bronzer, I'm gonna just point out my Morphe brush, and this is my M437, and I mentioned this in the past. It is the perfect little domed contour brush. I love it. I mean, I use this every time I contour. I use this to contour, and then I use this to bronze. That's it. Those are my two bronzing, contouring babies right there. So again, this is the Morphe M437. I picked this up last year at IMATS. It's still doing great. It's still holding up strong. The bristles feel nice and soft, and it's still a nice domed, perfect shape for me. I don't like using brushes like the Ita brush, which is a very popular brush. People were trying to get their hands on this forever. It even went up in price. It was about $45 when I bought it, and now it's $55 because it was in such high demand. But I do not like using brushes like this to contour. I feel like it's too harsh. The line is too strong, and even though this is nice, like if you want that extreme contour, that's fine, do you. It doesn't look as nice to me as using something like this to really just circular put in that contour. Something about it I love. So if, you know, you don't have to get the same exact one, but I totally recommend a small domed brush to contour your face. It's also easier when you're getting like right up in here. I don't know, something about this line, I don't like it. But this I love, so this is definitely holy grail for me. Okay guys, so I just have one more brush to talk about. This is my Morphe S94. I did get this also at IMATS last year, and this is the only thing I've been using, or the only buffing brush I've been using to buff in my foundation. I'm pretty sure all my videos, this is the only one I use. If it's not this one, it's the Sigma one, the Sigma F80, but I don't know where that one went. It like walked away from me because I have no idea how I lost that brush. It doesn't make sense, but I actually like this one more because that one is very dense, and I like that this one's a little bit more fluffy and soft and kind of buffs in the product on your face even more smoothly and effortlessly. I just love how this makes my foundation look. The only thing is that the ferrule is coming apart. It is a cheaper brush. Morphe isn't a high-end brush or makeup brand. Their prices are amazing, so sometimes you get what you pay for, and this one is finally looking like it's about to fall apart. But I think I will probably replace it when I go to IMATS next week. But yeah, just had to mention it. Morphe makes really great brushes, and from what I see on their makeup, they make good affordable makeup too. So that's that. Okay guys, so that wraps up my holy grail brushes, and now for the people that just want to know, like, Just give me 5 brushes that I need to go pick up in the store to do my makeup and feel like I'm getting a good application. I'm not a makeup artist. I don't need 100 brushes. This is what I would recommend to you. I would recommend a flat top brush to put on your foundation. I'm gonna list some options down below. I have one from Coastal Scents that lasted me years and then broke after a couple years, but it was like 10 bucks. So if you're trying to do something like that, why not, right? So I'm gonna list that one down below. This Morphe one is great. The Sigma one is good. What else? I love ones like that. Even this domed one by Morphe, I've been obsessed with. I used it today to do my foundation and it's amazing. This is the M439. So I would totally recommend a buffing brush if you're doing your makeup. So that's one. So I didn't mention a blush brush in my favorite brushes, but that's because I don't really have a favorite blush brush. They're just kind of whatever to me. I love my MAC one, can't find it. It's not holy grail, that's why I haven't repurchased it even though I can't find it. But I just use my powder blush brush by Sigma. This is an F10. It's just a little stiffer and bigger than my MAC one. That's why I prefer my MAC one. I like a smaller, fluffier blush brush, but this one still does the job. So I would recommend to get a blush brush if you're doing your makeup. You can also use this to contour, to bronze, and to put on your blush. So, you know, first you want to put on your bronzer and your contour, and then you can just put a little blush on top, all in one with this one brush. So I would recommend something like this. Even something like this if you don't mind having something fairly big to put on your blush, your bronzer, your contour, etc. So that's my second recommendation for you guys. You need to have a blending brush. I don't know if I can stress that enough. You need a blending brush in your life. So this is the Tapered Blending E40 by Sigma, and I'm recommending this one because it's cheaper than the MAC, and it's also just as good. I swear by that. So this one is, again, Sigma E40, and you definitely need a blending brush for your eyeshadow. So that's why I'm saying this one. The next one is going to be this one that I can't remember the name of by MAC, but this one is so great because you can pack on your eyeshadow, you can put on your brow bone highlight, your inner corner highlight, do so much with this one brush, but it's necessary. You can't pack on an eyeshadow with this. It's just not gonna happen. You cannot put that on your, it's gonna look crazy. If you do make it work, I don't know. It's gonna look crazy if you do make it work. So I would just recommend having at least a brush to pack on your eyeshadow and then one to blend it out. That's really basic right there. If that's all you can work with right now, this is all you need for your eyeshadow, and I truly believe that. It could really be so many different things for the last brush. Those 4 are definites, like 100%. I was even thinking of powder brush because you want to, if you're using a powder foundation, if you're wanting to set underneath your eyes, you're going to need some kind of powder brush. I mean, you can always clean a blush brush and use this for powder too, but if you want to just have one on hand, I'd say to have a powder brush on hand, like the large powder brush F20 by Sigma. Or if you wanted to go with another eye brush, I would say something like a pencil brush, because you can use this to cut your crease and then blend it out with the 224 by MAC or the Sigma E40. You can use this for underneath the lash line, which is very hard to blend out if you don't have something like this. So it kind of depends on what you want to go with for the last brush. Yeah, those are all my recommendations. I said that's so weird. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope that I didn't do anything too fast or anything like that. If you guys have any questions, you know you can ask me down in the comments bar or box or whatever you want to call it. And I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!